Welcome to Albion TV presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. And today is Wednesday, the 15th of April, 2020. I am your host, Chosen. Joining me today, as always, in his home studio, halfway around the world, my co-host, your producer, Bogle.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing okay. So we had this idea for a show, right? Because usually on Wednesdays we have Patch Day Wednesday, but apparently we don't have a patch.
It's No Patch Wednesday, where we talk about patches of the past.
Well, we actually found a great topic to talk about today.
Yeah, we did.
We have some PSAs, some news to go over first, as we do always here on the Daily Show. But then while we were writing up the notes, we realized, hey, we actually didn't really talk about the 1 year of free-to-play anniversary that just happened 5 days ago, April 10th. And I think it is time to take a look back at what happened over the last year since that happened, because a lot of things did, and we should sort of put that back into the conscience of ongoings. But yeah, that is the plan, to spend some time on looking back today after we get some reminders and PSAs out of the door. No, into the minds. And
to repeat them as always, because Bogle, knowing is half the battle.
And what's the other part?
Winning.
What? Winning is half the battle. What?
Winning is half the battle. The other half is knowing. And if you don't do either of those, you're going to lose.
Oh.
Right? See? Okay. So, quick reminder, we've already done the first one. It has been an entire year since free-to-play. On April 10th of last year, the mighty Albion Online went free-to-play, and you no longer had to pay $29.95 to get your butt into the game. And all you had to worry about from that period on was just your premium.
Yes. Since free to play, we had a bunch of updates. We had 3 updates total. We had Oberon, Percival, and Queen. We will take a look at some of these and some of the features that came with them. But I think we have to plug something from corporate first before we get to talk about the fun past, right? Because right now we have the Rites of Spring Easter event.
Oh, we're looking at eggs.
Four eggs. We're looking for eggs, I think. That's what we're doing. Surprise eggs, to be specific.
You know what eggs surprised me this Easter? The exoplanets. They were so good this year.
Oh no, don't do a egg pun fiesta.
Come on, just the one. No, they were really good this year. People made eggs that look like exoplanets. It's good stuff. But we do have the Rites of Spring, Bogle, and it does give one of the coolest things that you can get in the game right now. Your chicken transmagnifier that turns eggs into frogs and bunny rabbits.
Neat.
And what's the other one? Marmots?
Yes, marmots, I think.
Marmots.
So the first one, that's the marmots, right? The blue one, yeah?
Yeah.
The frogs and pew. The bunny, too. Cute.
Yeah, I said they're all cute. The frog, as long as it's not a giant frog licking you from half a screen away, it's fine with me.
What? A giant frog licking you?
What, you haven't been in a swamp in the last 3 years, Bogle?
Oh, in Albion.
Jeez, come on.
See, I had to think about whether or not I was in swamps recently.
No, you haven't. You have not left. There's no city in a swamp. All right. I mean, Thetford's close, but all right. Let's move on, Bogle. We have other things in this event. We had a Rites of Spring Easter event on the forums where people looked around for eggs, and we have winners for these contests because they were able to count the right number of eggs in the right area.
We did. If I find this, here's page 1. We have the Let's Go Egg Basket Hunting. Go forums. There you go. Contest. and Route 3 is ongoing, and that's the one we're supposed to plug from corporate here. Because if you look for these cute Easter baskets with eggs in them, boop, that's the forum thread, and you in the Outland rests, Arthur's Rest, Morgana's Rest, and Merlin's Rest, and you submit the total number of these until Friday 17th, which is in 2 days.
That's 2 days.
You can win prizes, skins, and premium.
There's some good prizes to be had there. Skins, premium. Premium is a pretty good prize. Yes. I know that because people ask me what they should do to get premium every single day. And so I'm like,
forum contest?
You should join the contest.
Or just raffle here on the AO Daily Show, I guess.
You got to win a couple of raffles, Poke.
Is that a thing that we still do, raffles here on the Daily Show?
Yeah, should I? Are you saying right now that I should open a raffle for these lovely folks here in the AO Daily Show? Yeah, because this is going to be a little bit more of a, I don't know, like, Poke, what is it when we talk to the audience more than usual?
I think it's called freestyle in like hip hop, right? Oh no, it's called the AO Daily Show. No,
all right.
No Patch Wednesday. That's what. Listen, we had to come up with something on short notice. We had hoped to talk about other things.
Oh, well, I made so many notes on this. Don't tell me that you don't have enough to talk about. I wrote notes the entire last year of Albion, from what happened politically to patch-wise to what happened with you and I. I have all these things from the last year. I mean, we should actually, we still have more to talk about in these PSAs, but we should probably get on with the show.
Sure. What happened between you and I? Now you made me curious.
You went to China. You came back from China.
No corona.
And then you decided to go back to China again.
Oh, yeah. True. That was, still no corona. And then we did, in between, sort of started this...
a lot of shows.
This Albion TV thing, right? That's what you wanted to say?
Oh, I did once try to lift a table. That was an event. That did happen. Actually, I did lift a table. I didn't try nothing. I totally lifted a table.
That story, right? The table 21 and then being sick for a week because you tried to do sports.
Yeah, I hurt my... No, I was at a wedding and I moved a coffee table. And while I moved a coffee table, I kind of turned to move the coffee table, and I lifted it while I was turned. Like my hips were facing one way, my arms were facing the other. And I don't know if you guys know this about moving things. Don't do it.
Super dangerous.
It's super dangerous. It's almost as dangerous as going outside and buying groceries.
Well, but while Chosen was deeply injured and I was tracking all over the world, we sort of managed to launch this AO Daily Show thing that's been going on for almost a year or two now, right? It's been a long and great adventure of news, gossip, guild insights. We've changed the format a few times. We've changed the time slot a few times. We've changed the content a few times.
Yeah, we have. It's still Albion related most of the days. Most of the days we still have Albion related conversation. I mean, it's been more and more about the Tiger King as of late. I mean, I'll be honest, we do have a lot of Tiger King talk, but it's still the AO Daily Show and not the TK Daily Show. Though Bogle, have you watched episode 2 yet?
No, but I'm surprised there's no guild in Albion yet. That sort of.
There are guilds related to Tiger King. You just don't know it.
They're so busy. Many kings in Albion. King Mojo, King, I don't know, Bosch. I think
King Moyo.
Moyo, yeah. We should have that soon.
King of Holes.
No, that's a whole export. That's a whole different thing.
Well, he says he's the King of Holes now.
Oh, he claims that.
He also claims to be a hole master.
Shout out to Axon Fang.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on with the. Okay. So the eggs. Okay. This week we had a roundtable call. Last week last Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are currently waiting for the notes from that so that we can tell you guys about it, because we would like
to get approved.
When they get typed up and they're approved, then we can share the notes with you guys, and that's what we really hope to do. There was nothing really leak worthy from this last one that I think is really necessary to talk about, other than there will be more Crystal League.
I mean, there will be more Crystal League. The sort of season top placements are getting shuffled around a bit. You get your you get your guild season points a little bit differently, hopefully with PvE dungeons, and that is just. I mean, most of that was about season 9, right? The soon starting beginning of season 9, and we don't even know a date yet, right? Season 9.
No, we do not have a date yet. We do know that there will be patches, aplenty coming up, though, before then. We will have a pre-season 9 patch, and that will put in the changes for the point scoring for season 9, as well as changes to towers, changes to Crystal League, some changes to crafting timers, some other updates, some balance changes. It'll be a pretty hefty pre-season patch. And then we will have our mid-season patch, which might have some content. It won't be content that's... Hold on. Usually, Bogle, let me say, mid-season patches are usually balance changes.
Right.
All right. So instead of just a balance change, this time we might get a little content, because Robin Henkes, the game director of Albion Online, did kind of suggest, though he didn't outright say it, that when the content is ready, they will release it, because it sounds like they have content that's going to be ready at multiple phases over the next 4 months, as their plan is to do something for the release, something in the middle, and then something at the end before the beginning of season 10. So we will probably see the majority of the roadmap get out onto the live server, and I would be shocked if we don't see our mobile release in the next 4 months. I honestly think that we're looking at a 3rd-year anniversary patch, to be quite honest, and I think that the best thing to drop on that would be the mobile.
True. That is 17th of July is the release launch birthday of Albion Online. I mean, we sort of talked about 1-year anniversary of free to play, which was April 10th. But July 17th is 2 months away, right? Yeah, June 3 months.
It's 3 months. We're 3 months away and 2 days. So that is plenty of time for the patch schedule to be out. And I believe, just down in the deep recesses of my soul, where the hole where my soul should be, my soul hole. Exxon, Exxon Fang, can you help me figure out about my soul hole? I hear you're an expert on holes. No, but deep down in there is a belief that the mobile version will be released, and that will be like the big thing for this year. And just like free to play was huge for Albion, we were going through some dark phases before free to play. I mean, we were maintainable, but I wouldn't say we were super successful before free to play. But we had enough, to maintain the game for another year. Nobody was going to get fired over it. But then we had free to play. Our numbers jumped. They dipped down due to, the free to play players, coming and going. And we probably hit a low around, I would say, early November. But then by January, this game had taken it up a notch. And we had seen monthly numbers that, other than on free to play month, we hadn't seen. And we've topped those numbers 3 months in a row. We went from 350,000 to 400,000 to 500,000, and are going to do better this month as well. These are incredible numbers for a 2020 MMO on a single server by a team of 39 people. I've been talking with PC Gamer, and just we're in a unique spot in the game of in the world of video games right now. We're still an independent studio, but we're getting very good studio numbers. We've passed Eve. It's absolutely insane. It's like I mean, they're going through a really hard time right now, and I think it's like their content is down, but and our content is up, so it's a weird situation. But yeah, it's been an absolutely fantastic year for this game. Do we want to talk a little bit more about like some of the cool patches that we did have? Like the free to play patch was when we had the first random dungeons that came out. Before that, we only had static dungeons. Hellgates,
Sure.
that
I
kind
mean,
of thing.
I can try to find the. I mean, if you go to the website, the official Albion website, there's still the history of previous patches where you can look at what has been new or what was new within that patch. And are you talking about Oberon, March 20th, or did you? Because that's the one where we suddenly have hidden entrances appearing.
Yeah, I guess that's over. Yeah, we do. That's over a year ago, March 20th. I guess you're right, but I do feel like it is sort of. This is when we just saw the beginning of Albion, like the new Albion, really. This is when we had Albion 1.5, because the random dungeons have added so much to the game. This is when we saw that the game really started to turn around, was with these randomized dungeons. It wasn't free to play exactly. It was these randomized dungeons when we saw that uptick in player count. A lot of players who had played the game before started returning. They were a lot of fun. They really switched up the way that people were playing the game. You could have a more small group oriented game. And it was a lot of fun. And then we saw that same style of gameplay continued in July when we had Percival released, which is when we had the solo randomized dungeons added, which are small group random dungeons.
You're still on about that name, aren't you? Solo?
Yeah, it's just one dungeon out there, guys. There's not 4 of them. That dungeon is solo. It has nothing to do with the number of people who are inside it. The one person could complete it is the idea here.
Right.
Yeah, that's the idea here. And one person has completed a number of them by going in and killing the people who are already in there and taking their stuff. We also added character customizations, Bogle. This is something that people have been asking for forever. Actual, what do you want to call it? Like
vanity skins?
Yeah,
vanity skins.
Yeah, just vanity stuff. And just they've been great. And this is the little things that you can add to a game that can, and I'm going to talk about this from a game developer standpoint here, because, I'm going to put on my junior game dev hat here, Bogle, while I speak. Anything that you can do to get more money out of the people who are willing to pay more money for your game because they love your game and they still get something out of it, the better. Like, you don't want to make your game pay to win. Nobody wants to do that. You have to be very careful in these style of games to make sure you don't get to be pay to win. But vanity skins are great, because when you spend, I don't know, 40 plus hours a week in this world of Albion, and you spend 15 of those hours hanging out in the cities or more.
That much?
How much do you spend in the cities out of your 40 hours a week in Albion?
Sir, that's not the topic, sir.
So what I'm saying is, while people are in the cities, it's nice to look different than everybody else. And it kind of creates a unique character for people. And you can learn a lot about somebody basically by how they hang out and what they wear and, how they are. And I really like these character customizations, and they've continued with every patch that we've had since to add more layers of it. And I believe this is also when we had the new UI improvements as well. Weren't that in Percival as well? The UI updates?
I mean, scrolling down, it says mount skins, new creatures.
There were new banks. There were UI improvements. There were scrims for 2020s and crystals added. There were a lot of little additions in Percival too. Percival was a jam-packed
Can you believe
content.
it? Almost a year ago, we didn't have solo randomized dungeons in the game. Almost a year ago, we didn't have some of these mobs and mount skins. It didn't even exist in Albion.
No.
And
then we had a while between July 10th, and you have to go all the way from July 10th to January 20th before we get a real big content update.
Queen.
In between, We had the Avalonian invasion season.
The what?
The Avalonian.
That sounds like a cheap pasta brand. The Avaloni.
The Avaloni.
The Avaloni. The noodles invaded Albion. We had that great video. The We Remember. And
we remember this world.
I didn't say, okay, Sternwolf, I didn't say I judge people based on their skins. I said I learn a lot about people by their skins. There's a difference. I'm not being all judgy. Except for some of the skins. Some of them you automatically become a little judgmental. You have to. You've seen those skins? Bogle runs around with like 2 beers. You think this guy isn't like blotto half the time? All right. So the Apollonian invasion season here was the invasions just kept ramping up. That's what this was. It was an event season. It was different than every other season we've ever had in the game. We started adding mobs to the Outlands, the Avalonians, just the drones that started blasting people whenever they would gather, the archers that were wasting people, the spearmen that were just worth so much fame. And it started out, just like any other season. After a month, there was an invasion, but the next invasion was 2 weeks later. And then the next invasion was a week later. And then the invasion started happening just days apart. It was incredible. And it culminated with the invasion of Carleon. And that's when we had the Realm Gate destroyed. We had the giant constructs inside of Carleon itself. We had 17,000 people watch the stream that night. And on that night, we passed 1 million views for the stream. We had 4,000 people watching at one time, and it is the only stream in 3+ years of streaming here that I got yelled at for.
Why?
Because I was a little less than professional.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was like, this is a bad event.
Uh-oh. Well, Carleon was on fire, and you're like, what the hell, guys?
Yeah, but eventually, the event did turn around, and everything worked out fine, and and some people really did like the stream, which we're all good. Like I'll say that we're all good now, but there was mistakes made in that event, and everything is fine. There are no fallout from it, but it was not my peak performance, and
oh well.
Yeah, I would have liked to have done better when we had 4,000 people watching than being like, this event is crap.
I mean, when you see things, you gotta call them how they are, aren't you? I mean,
well, that was my agreement with SBI, is that I'd always call it like I see it, and they asked me just to be respectful, and I think I got on the borderline there of being a little bit disrespectful to the event, and that is not something I ever want to be, because I really do love this game and the community, and it should always come through with how I talk about it. So,
I mean, we sort of got that new shiny thing in Carleon from that, right? Where we have these 3 guys fighting the Avalonians, and it's with that new widescreen thing I've been testing out here in Scream. It's I think the furthest you can like see stuff on the screen, like in the whole game. Because if you look to the right, you see the season winners there from last season. That's going to get replaced, by the way, soon when season 9 starts. That guy with the frost prism, and on the left you see the season winners from the Avalonian invasion season. That's the last season. Shout out again to Arrow 404.
Yeah, I was gonna say last season we saw Arrow 404. No, that's not true. They are here. They did come back recently. We've saw a number of members of Arrow 404 back, and we even watched them this weekend, didn't we?
I think one dude, right? Die?
Well, no, we watched.
In Crystals. Yeah.
In Crystals, yeah. We watched them participate in Crystals, and then we watched them again on Tuesday participate in Crystals as a double healer. So they are back. It's good to see them. They did win the invasion season, and they are a solo guild out there in the world of. No, that's true. They did join Arch. I did hear that. They had rocked as a solo guild until they were destroyed, and then came back a bit later and did join Arch because they need some backup.
Do you know?
We have a bunch of questions about your screen right now, Bogle. People want to ask how you made it so beautiful.
Well, as I said, first thing first, like if you go away from this spot, the game zooms in, right? That's that's a little trick that they do so you can see this monument better. And if you just stand here, you can just see more. And the second thing is I did it's a fake widescreen resolution where you basically pretend to have a widescreen resolution, and then Albion switches to a little bit of a broader view. I think Robin Hood RS on his YouTube has a little bit of a guide in his recent video on the getting rich quick through PvP thing. But yeah, ask around a little bit. It's fake widescreen with NVIDIA.
Yeah. You just use the NVIDIA settings and you can change your screen. It's not hacks or anything that you're not allowed to do. We've actually talked to SBI and they're like, yep, it's fine. We do support ultra wide monitors. You do not actually get any more information because the things that you can see on the side are people whose name tags were already going to show up anyway. And it's not any extra information. You don't get the name tags any sooner. So.
I mean, I kind of can see a little bit more movement, but well, if it's not disabled, it's officially approved, right? That's how it works. No, if I'm not banned, it's
moving on.
Smart use of game mechanics, right?
Queen.
You have a
came out on January 20th.
Let's see. There we are. All right. Nobody can see it anymore. We good.
So Queen came out on January 20th. It was the Albion 2.0 release. It has been what has really brought back the customers. It's been, the players have just been thrilled with it. 9 out of 10. I mean, this was when we changed from 5v5 for territorial conquest to ZVZ for territorial conquest. We implemented the Crystal Leagues. We put in a new map for the Outlands. We changed where you could live. We added hideouts for people to live in the out. Yeah. We added the Avalonians. We added Avalonian gear. Well, actually, I believe the gear started coming in.
Come later, yeah.
Well, it started in the invasion season.
What?
Yes, you started getting pickaxes, like right, the tools, and then you started getting armor with the Queen, and you will get weapons in the future, including a cannon.
A cannon? No, I think that's a energy crossbow. I'm still.
Yeah, you can call it what you want. I call it a railgun.
I was looking around because you said the new Outlands, right, that we got, and I was curious because there was a previous announcement of an Outlands expansion. And do you remember Siluria and Glavia? Do you remember April 18th? That's almost a year ago now, where the old world, because of free to play, got too small, and that's how Albion used to look like size wise. And then we had to add these 2 continents, and that all got trashed. I guess
by the Avalonians.
Just a year later. I mean, to be fair, these were just basically copy paste of
they were just upside down versions of our other maps.
But still, that sort of shows that Albion underwent quite a few changes over the last year, which is pretty awesome. Like when you live in a world that's changing around you, that's pretty neat, I feel like.
No, absolutely. I've really liked the way that we've constantly made the game fresh. And it's, for such a small team to do the amount of stuff they've done for this game, it's very exciting. And while people might have been disappointed with some aspects of one patch or another, one thing that has remained solid and remained awesome is the core gameplay loop. They succeeded with that, and they built a structure around that has really supported it. And it really has made this game like stand out, and really it's lasting better than a lot of people anticipated. I remember when we started working here, when I started working here, 3 years ago. Well, about 3 years ago, we were doing the Albion Informer.
The old podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the our first podcast. So, but around that time, I had a lot of people telling me that I was choosing the wrong game. Like this wasn't going to be one of the ones to hook my, horse cart on or whatever, and that I should really look at other games. And I mean, one of those games isn't even out yet. Waiting. But yeah, I feel like we made the right choice, Bogle, with Albion Online, and it's been a
I'm
fun
also
3
still
years.
happy. Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like the next year is going to do better than last year, and that's hard to believe, but things are really looking very, very, very good. And no, it wasn't Star Citizen. Sorry, Exxon Fang. Did you know that Star Citizen has now officially made more money than Grand Theft Auto 5?
Ooh.
Yeah. If that's not disgusting, I don't know what is. Yeah, that's just super disturbing. It is it really everything about that game kind of disturbs me. No, not New World. No, nope, nope, nope. It's I don't want to say which one it is because I do feel bad. I do know some of the developers. I do how do I say it? Like respect them and like them. All right, I'll tell you. It's Camelot Unchained.
Oh, that one.
Still not. Yeah, it like remember when we started doing this, it was still about to go into beta 3 years ago.
Am I glad that Albion didn't do a Kickstarter or not? I don't know. I mean, I was just looking at the thing and I realized something. Sign up on the forums 2013. Damn.
Dude,
it's a long time.
That's 6 years ago.
That's a long time, sir. Wow. Well, we've come a long way, and I'm as well happy that I stuck with it. There's been so many great changes happening. A lot of these things we sort of forget and suddenly take for granted, right? For example, now I couldn't even imagine Albion without hideouts or, I have to say, Cluster Q or Crystal League or Avalonian Armor or Vanity. Like this kind of, suddenly it's all standard. It's all like, thinking back and thinking that that wouldn't exist makes me always feel weird for some reason.
Well, I really like a lot of the changes that have. Oh, and we have a banned player. Hi, how you doing? Did you ban them or did you just deny it? Because you have to ban that player when they do that. Because once you deny it, their message goes away and you can't. Yeah, you have to click on the person fun stealer and then ban them if you see something like that in the future. Don't worry, he'll probably be back. They always are. They always are, bud. Yeah, so it's been an exciting year for sure, Bogle. And I have to say that when you see things that, like you're saying, the hideouts, which you can't see not in the game, I don't know. It's more like, to me, I expect we'll always see things change, and I could see hideouts change again in the future. I really do like seeing that they brought them in because it reminds me of what we saw in the alpha version of the game where you could place down homes anywhere in the world. And by homes, I mean the house. Remember houses, Bogle?
Yeah, I don't, it didn't
translate well to a good game.
No,
the early alpha stuff didn't work out well. But what they've done with the hideouts to make it so you have like a little castle anywhere in the world where you and your friends can just live. That's, to me, awesome. That's really what I think is just
my biggest thing for Albion in 2020 is going to be the Roads of Avalon, and that's, if that works out well and I don't need to deal with large scale ZVZ, then like if I can just hop around, do Albion with 10-15 people, then I'm happy. Like then I don't. It sounds weird because Albion has such a big focus on large scale guild organization and warfare, and I have done that, but like seeing this other option is my personal highlight for 2020, and then along the way just making the Outlands better and cooler,
Mm-hmm.
might make it even, in a state where I'd consider like, oh, I could try Outlands again.
No, don't say such a thing, Bogle.
Well, Roads of Outland sort of connect right to my doorstep, right? Sort of almost directly to Carleon, right? So I can kind of go one zone and then say hello.
Actually, that somebody had a question, and I meant to answer that earlier, and they were like, "Will they be able to get from their use them as transport?" And yes, the deal is that you can 100% use these as transport, like to get from the Royal Zone to the Black Zones, deep into the Black Zones. You will have to be very careful when you're doing it because 24 hours later, the path will change. You'll have to probably bring a bit of a notebook with you or something so you can write down the path that you took so you can get back to where you want to go. But yeah, there are ways for you to get into the Outlands using the Roads of Avalon. And I think that's one of their primary purposes, is to allow for more people to get into the Outlands.
I feel like the primary purpose of the Outlands is small scale content, not transportation.
Yeah. Well, it's not transportation of goods, it's transportation of people in small scale to actually, get where they want to go. And I think that is more difficult than it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just make it happen. Make it so.
I guess one last topic we should briefly talk about for the show today, if we're looking back at the last year, is sort of what happened politically in the landscape of Albion. Who is or was the king, the reigning emperor of Albion right now? I mean, we talked about this briefly in the ZVZ show, and I'm always going with the first, right? I'm currently saying that Artista is the king of Albion. That's what I...
Okay.
But you had a different opinion, and I...
Yeah, I do. I do have a different opinion. Well, I think Artista is definitely one of the lords. I believe that the only reason he's allowed to lord over any lands is because King Mojo lets it happen.
Oh.
Yeah, he has, at the beginning of the season, Mojo said it was okay that Artista won, and since then, he's been in first place. And they have the ability to be first place simply because others are letting them be there at any point. Like, I mean, it's a little late now, like with Aggressor so far behind them, that it would be a little late in the season for Squawk to say, no, you're not getting first now. We're going to trounce you and take away first place. But it was the work of Squawk or Squad or whatever you want to call it, Armor, Articulo Mortis, whatever you want to call them. The group led by Blue Army and King Mojo, that group has worked together to get Sex with X first place. Now, Sex with X has done a lot of work, and they deserve it from the perspective of squad members, but they aren't the... Artista is not king.
Okay.
Syndic has a much better claim to being king than Artista, as Syndic is probably in charge of the most men currently. I would say he's in charge of more than even Gluttony right now.
Okay. I was trying to sort of figure out if we can get to the current state of the season rankings just shy of 2 weeks before the end of this. Looking back at how we got here, I mean, last season, the Avalonian Invasion season, we briefly mentioned it. We saw Arrow 404 win that. Black Order, second place right now. They're in third, just overtaken by Aggressor, by the way. And we didn't see too much of Squawk in the last season, did we? The Avalonian Invasion season.
No, they took a vacation. Well, that's not true. Apparently, they allowed, from what I'm hearing, allowed Arrow 404 to take the season, and they kind of did some stuff behind the scenes to allow that to happen. I don't know how true that is, because I remember talking to the guys from Arrow 404. They were putting in work. They were making a lot of things happen. Now, if Squawk had tried I believe that they were still the most powerful alliance, even though they were taking vacations and watching old UFC fights, playing games from 2005, and e-dating.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm season 7 was June, Money Guild, AW Gaming, Black Order, Aggressor. Wow. That's different times.
Interesting thing that's going on right now politically is that we see, if you go back to the season before here, go back to the invasion season, you'll see that you have RAQ and Black Order up there at the top. Now, they fought tooth and nail to beat each other. They are absolute opposite ends of the spectrum. They hate each other. They're Russians who, no bigger beef than between Russians. However, right now, they are on the same side in hate. They are part of the Russian Empire, led by Shiro, who has the Black Knights, Black Order, and RAQ all working together to take down Hammer and Sickle in PoE.
Even more, apparently. Illupad, Seatorg, Fata Morgana, Oskane Empire, White Birches, Death Knight. Is that what? So if we can't call somebody a king, what's the Russian word for that? Is that Tsar? Tsar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you say it in English. Okay.
But again, I don't think Shiro is Shiro's power is derived partial. Like Shiro would be able to have his own empire if he was to split off from Squawk. He might even be able to do better because he'd have more enemies, and the more enemies that the Russians have, the better they do because they have more fighting and they're based on content. The more content and enemies they have, the more they show up for CTAs, the more they roll over everything. I think they would do well, but under Squawk, I feel like they are partially limited because who they're allowed to fight and how much beef they're allowed to have. I think it kind of limits them. But
is that a foreshadowing for season 9 then? The Russian Empire building up from the depths of history, like uniting.
Well, my thing for season 9, the next season here, is that I think we will see somebody from Poe rise up to do more in the seasons, even though like right now, like Syndic doesn't generally care for season points. I think that there might be others who try to gain that honor, and he would support that, just like you see Mojo supporting Sex with X, trying to push forward. We got Syndic actually in channel now saying that Hammer and Sickle is the only Russian empire. Hammer and Sickle has been consistent, always had content, always been there for the wars, but I've never seen them as a superpower. I've never seen them as like a guild that you would fear on its own. Like I don't think Hammer and Sickle could break off from PoE and start an empire. If they could, that would be that'd be awesome to see. And I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I don't believe that that's the. If I understood the power of the Bliatmobile, I would know. I'm sure. I hear you guys have some interesting music as you guys march to war. For sure, I hear you guys have your own anthem that you play. It's been interesting. But Bogle, what else do you think about the current political system that's going on, or some of the things that have changed over the last year? I have quite a bit there.
I was surprised that we are still sort of. I mean, towards the end of season 6, where everybody was like, "Yeah, squad," and season 7 was like, "Squad," and then Avalonia is like, "Squad, hello," and now it's like, all right, squad with Blue Army being weird. So it's been a lot of squad talk, and
well,
I'm hoping that season 9 will sort of shake that up a little bit.
It might. There's reasons to believe that it would be shaken up. But right now we have three major alliances, and that's kind of what you talk about. You have your Poe alliances. There's a number of them. You have your Squawk alliances. You have your Western alliances, which is always changing with your Italians and your Targets and your whoever knows who the heck those guys are.
I mean, we have the kingdom in the north, right?
I have it written down. Yeah,
we have the kingdom in the north, where recently
everybody versus Violets.
Is that? I mean, they have a few friends. I mean, Derek sort of and Final Order put their foot down after they got sort of kicked out of Arch surroundings area here in the west, and now they are sort of trying to put that down there. We have the Valon territories in the far east. That's been fairly secure over the whole season, I would say. A few guys who we didn't have a chance to talk to a lot yet is the Rang guys. I'm actually trying to find them. Do they still exist? Are we too late to talk to Rang?
I think we may have missed Rang. The door was buzzing, and we said, "Hold on a moment, guys. We'll be right there." And that was last week.
Oh.
I did send out a tell to talk to the guys from Rang, but so far they haven't responded today.
Oh. Anybody know if Rang is still? Anyway, so I wanted to mention Rang for the season. Of course, we had Sun here in the Southern Deserts. The Sun title PoE weird mix was interesting to see going on over the season. Right now, it seems like that title is getting their door kicked in as they sort of put down their tent next to a portal, and then everybody's like, "Nope, not a camping zone. Get out of here." And are we calling Surf? Is that what's been going on in the last few days, Chosen?
Are we calling it? I mean, no. They're getting slapped around, but it's not over for them.
Good. Okay.
We see people beat up on a particular group all the time. We see people get removed from the map often and then come back. It's not the end just because you were removed from the map. Frank Sinatra says a lot of things, but one of the times he was right. He said that you don't just have to beat a team's hideout. You have to beat them so bad that they don't want to come back to the territory. And he says that no matter, like his example was, no matter how many times you beat Sun, you can beat them on the field of battle, you can beat down their hideout, they can take their tower, you can completely eliminate them from the zone. But the moment you leave, they're coming back into that zone. And title could be the same. I hope for title's sake they are. But if that zone is going back to the portals with 250 men to gank at the portals, I hope that's not the zone they wanted to keep, because I don't think that will make them any friends. And in this game, it's a lot about your friends, and it's also
Rang,
about your enemies.
I found Rang. I was scared I lost them for a second.
You found them?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank the business of guild housing.
One person and group that I am a little bit sad that I haven't heard as much of is Arch. They sort of went to the west.
Well, the only reason you haven't heard from Arch is because, Bogle, you're not following Arch. Arch is...
how do I follow Arch?
That's the problem.
Do they have like... I mean, they have this... I was going to go do a rant on this highlight video thing that we did on the Crystal League the other day with, I think, Lindlicker is his name, there with some of these weird clips that we see. And if that's Arch, then I'm like, all right, never mind. But like after we saw Arch being a 10,000 man alliance,
oh my god,
that sort of disappeared, and I'm just curious.
Well, they haven't been 10 for quite a while. Gluttony definitely pared down the alliance quite a bit. They went down to about 5K, got back up to 7K. I don't know exactly where they're sitting at now, but they have definitely bounced around. They've never been 10K again, unless they're 10K right now, but I doubt it. I've seen them doing more work recently. They are part of the group that is taking down Surf. They're active.
6K isn't bad, yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
That's a lot of guild still. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that late in A is just not.
We don't cover as much NA due to the fact that you are in Berlin.
Well, Germany.
Well, you're not in Berlin, but you are in that time zone.
Right.
And that's far, far away from the NA time zone. But I think we are towards the end of the show. But is there anything from the last year you want to bring up?
There's so much. No.
Cool.
I mean, we still don't know what Avalon is, right? That's kind of. We're getting closer to that. We're getting to traverse the what do you call them? The mists of Avalon soon. The area.
Traverse the mists of Avalon. Yes.
But
to navigate your way through the pea soup of the fog.
We still don't know what that is exactly.
Nope, not a clue.
We're going to get to punch in a few Avalonians, but that's the big mystery, I suppose. For this,
it's time for the raffle, Bogle.
Oh.
And I'm pulling a raffle, and then I'm announcing the winners. They're announced right now in chat. Cloudburst 9, G Breezy, and Coach Yelly. You have all won. If you want to claim your prize, you have to whisper me. And then that will create a record of your victory, and I will get you a code probably tomorrow. And tomorrow we will be back with another ZVZ episode at what time, Bogle? 18 UTC?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is the time. Right here on twitch.tv/Albion Online. And then we'll be back again for the AO Daily Show at 19 UTC. And then back on Friday for another slate of shows as well, including a newbie show, a ZVZ show, and the AO Daily Show. So thank you guys for tuning in this evening. I hope you had a great time. I hope you all enjoyed the content for the day. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you. And remember, until next time, keep it classy, Albion.
Bye.